slaves anymore because we're not slaves. If you cannot control what you eat, then you cannot control what you feel. Eat your largest meals in the middle of the day, not the end of the day.
What part the homeostasis plays, you're on your way to healing yourself. The homeostasis is the internal environment where your body is at its ultimate functionality for healing. Just keep in mind that everything that is happening to you is happening for you.
Yes, and hello, happy Saturday to everyone. I am Carolyn, and you are in the Mind of Nature, hosted by Dr. Zari, the nutritionist. And today's topic is: Are Black people getting too comfortable? We're going to discuss that today. So thank you all so much for joining us. This is a pre-recorded stream. However, Dr. Zari and I will be in the comments saying hello and answering questions like you would on recorded live. Just remember to share and like the live. So the same process. Go ahead and share it and like the live as well. This is going to be a great conversation, a conversation I think we definitely need to have. So, and just remember, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. It's Dr. Farid Zarif. We are going to be streaming on Instagram. We're going to be streaming on Facebook and on YouTube. So, Dr. Zarif, go ahead and join me here on stage so we can get the live going.
All right, it's great to be here. It's great to see you, Karen. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Fantastic. Well, today what we're going to discuss is something that we all need to hear, and I'm sure people are saying, you know, Black people are getting comfortable with what? Well, that question in itself is going to be answered and give you a good idea of why I am speaking on, or we're talking about the comfort that we get from a lot of our people. So we want to definitely change that. Okay, so why don't we get right into it? Before we get into it, we want to say thank you very much to everybody that's here today and spread the news. If you are coming over from another side of this omniverse, just know that we really appreciate your time. We're going to get straight to the point and have to be concise because we have a super tight schedule. We're getting very busy thanks to all of you that are inviting us out to their churches and their clubs and the different organizations now that are giving us more attention about what we're teaching. And this is what we're working for. We're working to elevate. We're working to update, and we're working to educate. And this is also felt by more than just us. More people do want to hear what we're saying, what we're sharing, and our information comes with evidence. So we're backed by studies and science and experience. So this is a very, very beautiful time to say also happy Father's Day to those fathers. Tomorrow will be Father's Day. Hey, look, if you don't get a phone call, don't scream at anybody. Just say thank you very much. I appreciate it. But don't go into you don't call anymore. Where you been? I've been doing everything I could. Look, later for that. Go live your life, man, and be full in it. And don't hold it against anybody. It's just, I know. I can hear you talking to me now. And I know it's just like it's very frustrating, but you've done what you're there to do. And know that if you are judging yourself heavily and you holding yourself back and down because it didn't go out picture perfectly, it didn't work out in a way that you just could be proud of, let's step back. Let's reset. Let's get focused and get to your life. This is your life. Use it the way that you want to use it. It's your call, but don't get caught up in what people didn't do to validate you. You validate yourself. All right. With that said, everybody, we're going to get right into it. Let's go to Care. Care wants to say some shout outs to our wonderful folks. So go right ahead.
And I was just going to just shout out to the wonderful fathers. Like you just said, that was a great message. You know, just like anything else, just happy Father's Day. Enjoy the day. And that's my message.
All right. Well, let's get right into it, everybody. What we're talking about, of course, we're talking about our Black people getting comfortable. Comfortable with what? Comfortable with the way that we're looked at when it comes to healthcare. So I'm going to go right into it. Well, I want to start off with the younger Black women that are more, let's say that they're more likely to have these experiences with healthcare workers, hospitals, urgent care centers, healthcare workers. So the percentage of Black adults who say that they have ever experienced these following problems when dealing with doctors and healthcare workers. So I'm going to start off with one. And before I even start off with that, some people don't even know that we have those complaints. There are many complaints, and that's why we have a difficult time propagating the idea and the ideal way of living your lifestyle is predominantly by keeping a good balance or mitigating your health by knowing your blood pressure numbers, your blood sugar numbers, your LDL, your HDL, the cholesterol. You also want to know your hemoglobin A1C. All of these numbers, don't get laxed on them. Don't get comfortable with them, because these are some that we truly need to know in order to help the doctors that help us. Now, over the past, it's been, I'm in trouble and I need to go to the doctor to see what's going on with me. But what is that? That is after the fact, and that has been reactionary. We want you to be proactive. That means that before it even happens, still take care of business. Go in and get an exam. So as we go back over here to the thought that I had earlier about what we want to share, I'm talking about women that are 50 plus, and they're between the ages of 18 and 49. And I'm also going to give you a percentage of what Black men, how they're affected by this, these disparities, these health disparities that many of us have faced. First, we start off with you had to speak up in order to get proper care. Now, that complaint was between that particular complaint were by Black women 50 plus, and that was 40%. 40% of Black women 50 plus. And then with the women 18 and between 18 and 49 years, the complaint was 52%. Men was 32%. 52%. Over half of our young Black women from the ages of 18 to 49 had the complaint that they had to speak up in order to get proper care. So why is that even a thing? Let's go to the next one. The pain that you were experiencing was not taken seriously. So that pain that you were having, and you went to report it, you went to emergency, but you weren't taken seriously. The women that are 50 plus, this was 31% of women 50 plus. And 45% of those women between 18 and 49. Here's another complaint. You were rushed by the healthcare provider. Hurry up. Come on, let's get in here right now. Wait a minute. I got a question. We have to go. You can call us later. Here, call us next. Those kinds of things. 31% of 50 plus women and 45% of between 18 and 49. You felt that you were treated less with less respect than other patients. Like they were like just throwing you to the side and just say, excuse me, you come on up in front of her. Let me take care of you first. And then I'll get back to you in a minute. That kind of stuff. Those are the kind of things that should not even be allowed. So these are things to be aware of. And 24% of women that were 50 plus, and 40% of women between 18 and 49. You felt you received lower quality care than other patients. Now, this is horrible when another patient gets maybe a toolkit, and they'll give you a bag with all kinds of wraps, or you'll get some information to read. You'll get other things to help your healing. They'll write out your prescription, and you'll get the most appropriate prescription. But you feel that none of that happened with you, or part of that happened. You should have all of those things that you need before you leave that particular facility. Now, when it comes to the lower quality care, 26% of women over 50 had this experience, and from 18 to 49-year-olders, 38% made those complaints and have those complaints. Now, these are things that people aren't only complaining about yesterday, but they still happen today. And this, I wouldn't want my sister or my mother or grandmother or aunt or great grandmother. I wouldn't want anybody in my family or anybody that I know, as far as that is concerned, to feel that they've been pushed to the side and negated and disrespected. No, I want to do whatever I can so we can stop this. Now, I want to go through. Let's do a couple of more. You were looked down because of your weight. Now, this is something that a lot of people don't know. Like, you have people that are large are equated with people that overeat. And they overeat is then equated with these people just eating and being lazy. But the truth about that, and we can attest to that, because right now over 50% of Black women are overweight or obese. And this is something that we need to really pay attention to. Now, there's some new ways of eating now. There's food now that you can buy that's not as fatty and doesn't have all these saturated fats in it. The stores now are buying more healthy foods, except we still are holding on to all of those years of training. We've been trained to eat this certain way. So let's work on working together to get past that. Because if you continue to eat as you've always eaten, you're always going to have higher risk of disability, higher risk of illness and infection, and you're going to have also the threat of mortality. And this means that you could die from it. So we want to change these things around, and we want to speak up, and that's what we're doing here today. Okay. Again, we're talking about, first, we want to elevate. Elevate is to push your spirit up and know that you're worthy of it. And then we want to update. We're talking about things that are currently going on, and we want to educate. We want to take it from those people that are teaching to those people who accept the knowledge, learn from it, and we also want compliance. And when you comply, this means that you put it in motion. And then we have that your women's health concerns were not taken seriously. So these are like our sisters that go out there and they have complaints, the OBGYN, or it might be your internal medicine doctor, whoever your primary care physician is, or healthcare professional or provider. You bring to them your concerns, these women concerns, like endometriosis, or you know what you have, it can be lupus, or whatever the complaint is, and it's not taken seriously. You're just saying, told that, oh, go ahead, you will be all right. Just make sure that you take those pills, and I'm going to set this appointment up for 6 months from now, and you come back and we'll take it from there. And then that is not leaving a person confidently in a frame of mind to feel like they're taken care of, or that these professionals really cared about them. So these are some of the things that people complain about, and these are the things, of course, that we want to do something about. Now I'm going to go over just a couple of things here when it comes to the Black Americans' views about the health disparities and the experiences of healthcare. Just that's what we're on right now. I want to go over just a few of these, and this is because Black Americans offer a mixed assessment of the progress that has been made to improve, like some of the health outcomes of Black people. So this mixed assessment is, maybe one group will get this assessment, another group will get a different assessment. But let's look at some of these health outcomes of Black folks. We got like 47% say that health outcomes for Black people have gotten better over the last 20 years. So that's pretty good, isn't it? Almost half they today. We have 47% that say that the outcomes of Black people have gotten better over the past 20 years, while 31% say that they pretty much stayed about the same, and 20% think that they've gotten worse. Now, less access to quality medical care is the top reason that Black Americans see contributing to generally worse health outcomes for Black people in the United States. Large shares also see other factors as playing a role, including environmental quality problems in Black communities, and hospitals and medical centers giving lower priority to the well-being of Black people. Now, asked about their own healthcare experiences, most Black Americans have positive assessments of these quality care, or the quality of the care, and they've received these reports and these different, like when they're asking you to report and giving the hospital feedback. Well, most recently, these reports have been quite positive. These assessments have been positive. However, a majority, 55% to be exact, say that they've had at least one of 6 negative experiences, including having to speak up to get their proper care, to being treated with less respect than other patients. A 7th issue is asked about applied. The 7th was applied only to women, of course. And that was when you bring your attention to the doctor or the healthcare professional, and it appears that they negated your female concern, the female problem concerns. So this is something that, again, we want to change. We have to change the narrative, and nothing changes until you change. Okay. I'm going to continue with the beliefs about the key factors in health disparities for Black Americans right after this. So we're going to bring up care so we can reset, and then we're going to continue.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dr. Zarif. And thank you to everyone that has joined us here in the Mind of Nature. Today's topic is, are Black people getting too comfortable? And just great information that we're getting right now. This is a pre-recorded live right now. However, you should see Dr. Zarif and I in the comments saying hello, answering any questions, and so forth. So just continue. If you haven't already, please share the live and have others be a part of the comments and being in the conversation. Just great information as always, Dr. Zarif. You know, when you mentioned that we are trained to eat a certain way, I remember when I stopped eating pork. That was great. That's probably been about 10 years. And after doing that, I remember the next step was I stopped eating beef. However, I just thought of it being more ground beef, but oxtails, I just had a time. That was probably the last. As far as beef, I would say I wasn't eating beef, but I was still eating oxtails because that was just what I was, you know. I grew up eating oxtails, so it was really hard to get to stop eating that. But it was just that training and just being able to say, you know what, okay, I'm gonna stop eating, the red meat. But it does get difficult and it does get hard because you are trained to eat a certain way,
Yes.
So,
Well, that's great. I mean, I'm listening to you, so don't think that I'm negating you. I mean, I'm really, the things that you've done, that's very, very difficult, especially after all of those years of being used to that kind of cuisine. Yes. I remember when I stopped eating pork also, and I thought that the end of the world had come because there was nothing else to eat. That's all my family ate: pork chops, pig feet, chitlins. I was like, what the hell? It's just like when I stopped eating that, and I remember my cousin introduced me to a new way of eating, and I was like, okay, I'm doing it. And then I started going to temple, and it was great. I was going to a temple and a church at the same time, and that I was just 9 years old, and I was really, really intelligent for a little boy. And the things that you just shared, I can relate to right away, because I know I was holding on to that last piece of whatever I wanted to. One of the things that I did is that I remember lunch meat was a big part of our menu, because my mother, it was 9 of us. So my mother, she had 8 boys and 1 girl. And through all of these experiences, the lunch meat was the best to me. I could eat that up, and it was so great. Put it in some bread, bam. So you had your white bread, that's not good. And then you had the mayo, that's not good. That's sugar. And then you take your sandwich, you put, well, a lot of times we didn't have lettuce and tomatoes and radishes, right, or, cheese. No, we just had bread. We had mayo most of the time. And then we put it in the meat in, and we eat it. And I had no idea that the low grade lunch meat was just so dangerous. Right. I didn't know anything about nitrites. What's that?
But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I love it when you're excited. I love it when you're excited. Go ahead.
No, because I was just gonna say, the nutrients is just so low, and it's just like, not realizing that this is bad for us. But you've talked about euphoria, and just to think about that is like, oh, this reminds me of my childhood. Oh, just the wonderful days, So it's like not realizing that the food that you're eating, it's just the nutrients are just not there, but just the feeling of family and gathering and things like that. It's like that's the part of it that causes people to still go back to that the way things used to be, because while you were trained and the euphoria of having the family together and everything else. So that's where we get caught up, I would say.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, I think that we just, as far as euphoria, we'll never be able to outdo euphoria. We need a plan to outdo euphoria. So when we are so used to dopamine and the more the what else, serotonin and other um, we have the endorphins, and I was thinking about another, it just not coming to mind right now. But we have the different types of hormones that gives us this great feeling. Because again, we just love to feel good. We love entertainment. We love to party. We love sex. We love the greasiest foods. We love all of that stuff because it's a part of entertainment. Woo-hoo, party! You know, even if remember during the pandemic, I think you and I, we had a show on this, and we were talking about people. They weren't even concerned with like over 500,000 people. Well, actually, the exact number was, I forgot the exact number, but we lost a lot of people. I think 1.1 million people died in the United States from COVID, and worldwide it was 7,000. Yes, that is correct. There were 7 million people that died worldwide. Wow. So 1.1 million for just United States, but worldwide it was 7 million approximately people that died. So, but the biggest complaint out of all of that wasn't, oh my goodness, my family is dying. The biggest complaint is, I want to get out to the bar, open this restaurant. I want to party. Let's go to the beach.
Right. Yes. And I remember, what was it in, I believe it was in Atlanta. It was as if they never even closed down, because they had clubs, they had everything going on as if there was no pandemic going on. Exactly. So even with that, it's like, you know, again, people are, we're gonna go for what makes us feel good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, let's keep on going here so we can go ahead. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here. This is The Mind of Nature. I'm Dr. Zarif, the nutritionist, and we're talking about some of the discrepancies and the very negative approaches or the very negative ways of looking at our opportunities. And that's why I said our Black people actually just getting too damn comfortable, kicking back and get your lazy boy chair, and that's all you do. I got a job. Don't get complacent with it, because it doesn't last long, especially when you're on the job. That job can end now. And in other words, you can be in other jobs where you're doing a lot of work on your, you're doing fine, you're making huge amounts of money, but those things again are usually not as stable as we think that they are. Now, relatively few Black adults say Black people have found highest levels of success as scientists. So the percentage of Black adults who say Black people have reached the highest levels of success in the following professional groups. 1, professional athletes. Professional athletes, 84%. Professional musicians, 80%. These are the areas that people can get very comfortable in. And now, because we've seen great people that had incredible talent, the talent will take them places that their character cannot maintain. And that's why we have to not get comfortable, because it can be taken away very easily. But by you having a plan and doing those things that, you'll hear your leaders or those people that you respect, the knowledge that you get. Pick that book up, listen to things that will help to, again, elevate you, the things that will update you and educate you. That's why that's so important. So some of these particular levels of success as scientists, the professional athletes, the professional musicians, lawyers, clergies, medical doctors, officers in the military, business executives, engineers, and scientists. Okay. So we are looked at as pretty much that we can be professionals, and we're very good at that at these levels. However, I mention this because some people to this day, and this is June the 20th, no, today is June the 15th, 2024. You still have people that feel like no matter how good you are and how learned you are, that if you're Black, you're still not as good as of the white race. You're still not as good as the white doctor. You're still not as good as the white nurse. Those kinds of beliefs are still there. And we want to definitely change those beliefs, because if we don't change those beliefs, we don't change. We don't grow. We don't get any better. Some of the beliefs about the key factors in health disparities for Black Americans. There are long-standing differences in health outcomes for Black people. Now, disproportionate mortalities from the COVID-19, you keep going back to that because this is tied into the information also, and we learned more about that because more of us got sick. And we found out that we need to pay more attention to being proactive than reactive. You see, when you're reactive, is after the point, is after the fact. So now you at the mercy of these individuals that you feel that you definitely need. And then you end up putting up with their BS. And this starts these situations that seem to be quite agonizing because we don't do anything about it. And when we do, we don't stick with it. Keep this in mind that approximately 14% of United States of America's population is Black. 14%. Now that's, recently just changed because it's been 13% for a very long time. And before that, it was like 11%. But according to the Association of American Medical Colleges, only 5% of physicians in the country are Black. Only 5%. So I just went through all these professionals. And when it comes to Black doctors, there is only 5% these physicians in the country are Black. In fact, in 2021, research study at UCLA, that's right around the corner, that's not too far from my office, reveals that the proportion of Black doctors has only increased 4% since 1900. That is ridiculous. So what happened? Everybody wanted to be a hip hop star, or everybody wanted to be some type of entertainer. And all of those things are fun. And people they see all the flash. They see, oh yeah, pump it up for the fur coats. I heard a young boxer say that. He said he saw the sharp cars, the whips, and along with the fur coats. And he really liked that lifestyle and he wanted to be a part of it. And he's a great boxer, but that also, when I heard that brother also needs to have some kind of guidance as he goes along, because again, your talent can take you places that your character cannot maintain. As of 2022, the Black population in the United States was established to be 47.9 million, which is a 32% increase since 2000, when the population was 36.2 million. Okay. So what we're talking about right now, everybody, is the Black population, because the United States right now is about 333.3 million people. And that last is actually going to be more than that, because that is the research is pertaining to the stats in 2022. So to give you an idea, 333.3 million people compared in the United States compared to Russia, for instance. Now, Russia looks like larger than United States, but their population is 144.2 million. And in Mexico is 127.5 million. So you see 333.3 million is a significant amount of people for a country. So this is pretty huge. And again, as of 2022, the Black population was estimated to be 47.9%. Now, again, I want to repeat that that was a 32% increase from 2000, the year 2000, when the population of Black people was only 36.2 million. However, the number of people who identify as Black, in addition to another race, has increased by almost 254% since the year 2000. So a lot of people now are waking up to they're not white, they're not something else. They're not Asian, or there might not be European. So these other people now they identify as being Black, and this is due to a national shift in how Americans identify racially, as well as changing in how the United States Census Bureau asks about race and ethnicity. So we go on. These are some of the things that, as far as are we getting too comfortable with, I want to go over this before we get out of here. So here we go. We're going to go, let's start off with just some of the common concerns that African Americans should monitor. And several of these health disparities exist between African Americans and white Americans. Doctors are seeing diseases that you never expect to see in older patients. And those diseases are heart disease, diabetes, stroke, in relatively very young African Americans. While genetics do play a role in certain instances, socioeconomical factors have a significant impact on how African Americans are able to prevent and treat certain conditions. So let's start off with heart disease. Now, heart disease in general, diseases of the heart, are the #1 killer of Americans. However, while the rate of heart disease has been steadily decreasing among white Americans since the 1970s, the rates are not decreasing as sharply among African Americans. So we need to pay attention to that. The data tells us that the issue isn't that more African Americans have heart disease, but that the group's chances of surviving cardiovascular event aren't as high as the other populations. In fact, African Americans aged 18 to 49 are 2 times more likely to die from heart disease than other Americans. There is a Affordable Care Act. The Affordable Care Act which was passed by Congress in 2010, expanded access to healthcare insurance for all Americans. This is also known as Obamacare. Of course, you've heard of that before, but it appears that this access has improved cardiac care for African Americans, but a disparity still exists. There's still a disparity that exists. In general, this population that doesn't receive referrals for potentially life-saving treatments like cardiac catheterizations in a timely manner. I mean, it is every second makes a difference. It leads to the worst outcomes than the Caucasian counterparts. So a lot of times that we wait too long, we're not getting checked up enough. We don't know the disposition of our heart. We don't know the condition of our bodies. So we have to move on it, because when you wait too late is lights out. Now, the next one that we should be concerned about, the disease we should be concerned about, is HBP, and which is high blood pressure, or essential high blood pressure. Now, one of the risk factors of heart disease is high blood pressure. So just talking about heart disease and different diseases of the heart, one of the risk factors for heart disease is high blood pressure, also known as hypertension. And this condition is particularly troublesome for African Americans. In fact, 1 in 3 African Americans suffer from high blood pressure. 1 in 3 suffer from high blood pressure. High blood pressure is difficult to manage without adequate access to care. You need care, even if you're not able to go to the hospital or go to the urgent care center. There are individuals like myself that work remotely, and working remotely can help you to keep your weight in check, to manage your numbers, your health numbers. All of these things are important. Yes, you have to pay for them, but if you don't get that kind of help, you have to pay for that too, in a big way. African Americans are less likely to have high blood pressure under control than non-Hispanic Caucasian Americans. Further, African Americans develop high blood pressure earlier in life and typically exhibit much higher blood pressure levels. I want to read another, and then, oh man, are you enjoying this? If you are, please put this in our comments and let us know if you're enjoying the information that's coming to you, and we're helping you to save your life. We want people to know that. Let's go to cancer. While cancer is the number 2 killer of all races, African American men are 50% more likely than white men to get lung cancer. And the more African American men experience issues such as enlarged prostate and prostate cancer. I want to go back over that so that you'll get it. While cancer is the number 2 killer of all races, African American men are 50% more likely than white men to get lung cancer. And more African American men experience issues such as enlarged prostate and prostate cancer. And sadly, more African American males die from cancer than any other ethnic group. African American women under the age of 35 see breast cancer rates that are 2 times higher than Caucasian women at the same age, and have a 42% higher rate of death. 42% higher rate of death from the disease. And you may ask yourself, why is Dr. Zarif doing this? This is the reason. I'm not doing this to sell products, although when I do, I want to sell out, but I can't blame anybody for that. But when it comes to loving your people and being a strong nation, being a great culture that you're proud of, we need to change these health disparities right away, because it is no joke. It is not something that we can sleep on. We need to take care of these heart disease issues, our high blood pressure issues, our cancer issues, and those people that are facing these different challenges. I'm talking about brothers now, born with a prostate. This enlarged prostate, we have to take care of it. And there's new approaches to that, and doctors that are, you call urologists, that are taking care of business. Don't wait until it's too late. Prostate cancer is a whole nother topic. They sound like the same because they get some of the same symptoms, but the removal of your prostate, taking chemo and taking radiation, is definitely different than getting your prostate, perhaps part of it removed through the different types of techniques to remove the enlarged tissue around the urethra and to make a passage for urinating. All of this is quite different. However, there are brothers that I will have on the show that's going to, and there are people that already have had their prostate removed, and they are now living without that particular prostate or that particular level of health. So please take what I'm saying seriously. I want to go through just a couple of more, and then we're going to let you out of here because this is super important. I cannot leave without talking about diabetes, because diabetes, or high blood sugar, also known as hypoglycemia, also is an area of concern of African Americans, who are almost twice as likely to be diagnosed with the disease as non-Hispanic whites. Additionally, African Americans are more likely to suffer complications from diabetes, such as end-stage renal disease and lower extremity amputations. So you want to stay away from dialysis, period. You don't want to ever have to go to dialysis. But if you do, you want to have the best chances to have the best life from getting to that level. You want to live the best life possible. And this is very important that we talk about this. Another one that I see too much is stroke. Even people they're younger, and brothers are getting strokes even younger, even African-American women. Vascular disease, that's what stroke is. And those that affect your arteries and your veins. So a vascular disease, when you hear people or a person talk about disease or their arteries and their veins, that's both of those are the same thing. Those vascular diseases also disproportionately affect African Americans. Now, stroke impacts African Americans more than any other racial group at a younger age. This is really bad when we start having people that are having strokes in their 20s. Sadly, they are twice as likely to die from stroke as Caucasians, and are more likely to become disabled and experience difficulties with daily activities if they survive the stroke. So in other words, that they would be more likely to have disabilities. They would walk where they have a compromised stride, or what's also called a gait. They would also not have full use of their RAM, which is the range of motion. They will not have the agility that they once had. They also have a disability to lift their own weight in some cases, and so on. So please take heed to these things. Other diseases that I won't have time to go into are peripheral artery disease, sickle cell disease, and I wanted to go over those two. We'll do that at a later date, and also talk about also some of the autoimmune diseases. Thank you so much, everybody. That was, believe me, that was hot, and really appreciate you all being here because what we just went over today, wow, that was huge. And whew, look, we've been on air for 55 minutes.
Yes.
And this is perfect timing. Thank you for allowing me in your living room, your car, your wherever you are to hear what we have to say. And thank you also, Care, for being here and always, being that super audience that you are to keep me. You definitely keep me keep that spirit up when we talk about elevation. So thank you so much.
Yes. Well, I mean, the information is all about being proactive. There are things, like we've said before, that we have no control over. We're talking about those things that you do have control over, being able to say no to that fried piece of whatever, bake it instead. You have control over things like that. So that's what we're talking about, because I know some people may say, so-and-so did this and went vegan and still this happened. And again, these are things that we can't control. We're talking about the things that you can control and being proactive as well.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. That's a great point. Great point.
And go ahead.
well, no, I've talked a lot. You go right ahead. I'll wait.
Well, no, I was just going to say, just happy Juneteenth as well. Juneteenth is on Wednesday.
Ooh,
next Wednesday on the 19th. So happy Juneteenth as well. We are always, and Dr. Zarif has been doing this for years, just educating the Black community on the ways that we can be better and be more healthy, live a healthy life. So, it's just one of those things where you've been doing this kind of service for a long time. And again, I've said it before and I'll say it again, don't keep Dr. Zarif a secret. Make sure to share this information. Make sure to say, hey, have you heard of Dr. Zarif? Here's his YouTube channel. Here's his other social media channels. Just share the information so that way he can be known and we can get the conversation going and people just being a part of it, because this is information that we really need. And as you say, yes, we have gotten comfortable at times with certain things, and we just need that nudge and that reminder that, hey, just if you are on it, stay on it, and if you're not, get on it, because we have to get on the information that you're sharing. Just always some great information. And big up to you, Dr. Zarif.
Hey, thank you so much, Kara. Really appreciate that. Absolutely. All right, everybody, it's that time, the time that's hard to say goodbye, but we definitely appreciate your attendance. Spread the word, the mind of nature, and we really appreciate that. I'm Dr. Zarif, the nutritionist.
And I am Carolyn. Again, happy Father's Day to all the wonderful fathers out there, whether you're present or soon to be father. All right, so, and happy Juneteenth. Love you guys.
We'll see you next Saturday at 8 a.m. PST. Spread the word, share the word.